It has been an absolute stunner of a season, and it all comes down to the final round. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Big Grid Sundays for the final 2-hour sprint, or like a mini endurance, to end off what has been an absolutely stellar season. My name is Jack Mays. Joining me in the booth for the final time this season is the ever lovely Ted Edwards. We're at the Circuit de la Sarthe circuit that needs no introduction whatsoever. What does need introduction is our drivers here today, because let's be honest, didn't feel like covering qualifying. I'll keep it 100% with you, but it is Richard Farrell on the pole, Miguel Saba on the front row, Nelson, Bobby, Parker, Magruder, Johnson, Abbott, Randy Magruder, and Tetsuo Hideyoshi, your top 10 coming into the final round. We have 2 hours ahead of us. I will speak about the championship outlook once we get a little bit into the race, because we're a little bit under the gun. But Ted, they're getting ready to go underway. A few chicanes ahead of them before green flag running. But are you ready? I hope they are.
Oh, I'm ready, and hopefully these drivers are, because I think a few of them might be caught out by the forward chicanes as the leader gets to the green flag line. It's a difficult track, especially in these cars. They get a little bit slidey if you overheat the tires, but we'll have to wait and see what the pit stops are like, Jack. But here we see Richard Farrell on pole, followed by Saba in second as they're coming up to the green flag line.
One breath for the drivers. One final green flag start. Just about every single driver managed to make it through the chicanes. A couple off to a little bit of a slow start. 3 wide in the background. 3 Porsches vying for control in the opening few laps. They're going to make their way down towards what is now the Goodyear Bridge. Miguel Saba from the front row, immediately jumping up into first position ahead of Richard Farrell. Something we tend to expect from this season is that Richard Farrell might not have the pace, but he is most likely going to have the strategy ahead of all of his compatriots. But a entirely clean start from our grid of 21 strong LMGT3 cars, 3 different classes, of course, 3 different championships, none of which I think have been mathematically decided, though my math is really not great. I will say it rather plainly, but they're on the Mulsanne for the first time here tonight. And, well, this is not going to be the first time I say this tonight, but I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Joshua Nelson in the Porsche immediately stepping out, putting pressure onto Richard Farrell as they're going to go into the Daytona chicane. And I think the Porsche is going to have it better on the brakes. No, here comes the McLaren. Richard Farrell, a little bit of elbows out between the two. Farrah gets pushed wide, and Joshua Nelson is up to second place. Already a bit of movement, Ted, in the front pack, and they seem to be leaving the rearward behind. And you said it best. Strategy is going to be the question on everybody's mind. Who's going to do what in the pit stops to get where? 2 hours is a long time, especially when it is 2 times fuel and 2 times tire wear.
Yeah, it sure is. It's one of those where, do you go for the undercut or do you try and go for the extra lap by a bit of fuel saving? Now I know what we would both do. We'll both try and do that fuel save and try and look after the tyres as much as we can. And I think these GT3 tyres should be okay. They might be able to last at least an hour and a half. Not sure on the 2 hours though. But again, we'll have to wait and see, because we do not know. But amazing move by the 2 Porsches on Farrah. Nelson into the first chicane and Parker down the straight. You'll see it here in the background. 296 on Hurricane. Go into Mulsanne corner. The Hurricane stays in front. As we see some cars going almost too wide through the Mulsanne corner. Some bollards all scattered around the track. That would be a yellow flag for them being moved, but not in the sim. Fortunately for the drivers, else that would be a bit of a pain. Lexus on Mustang on Lexus. Who's going to make it first into Indianapolis? Now that's a very difficult corner, Jack, because you don't really want to go too wide through there. The Mustang looks like it's going to stay in front, and it does.
Absolutely. Just ahead, another Mustang, another Porsche. That's Randy Magruder being overtaken by Nick DeBrick into Indianapolis. And full transparency from the booth, trying out a new thing today on our broadcasting tools. There is the automatic camera. So it's running the entire show right now. My hands are up in the air. So we are at the mercy of the machine, at least until I deem it a chance for us to take back over. It's doing a better job than I would already. Tons of battles going on throughout. Richard Farah, our pole sitter, falling down, now under pressure from Wally Johnson in the BMW. And we're going to cut back to the fight for 15th because Juan Botero and Laurent Georgi were fighting, but I think Georgi might be dropping back just a few positions. Ram and P dropping back. Yellow flag for them. I think it's going to be a moment to take a look at because I'm curious what it looked like in the Porsche curve set, because it can usually get quite nasty, but we'll hang with the action for just a few minutes longer before we take a look at that. Abbott versus Magruder. Joshua Nelson, the first real racing lap is now going to be underway, but he set the fastest lap from the start. Here comes Richard Farah. He's fighting back. Parker now squarely in the sights of that mighty Inception Racing McLaren. The McLaren, not the favorite car of the bunch, Ted, but he's making it work.
Yeah, it's not a favourite car amongst most of the GT3 drivers anywhere you go, but Ferry doing an amazing job to stay in 4th place, starting in 2nd obviously. We're getting outmatched by the Porsches at the in the first lap of the race, but there's still an hour and 55 minutes to go. We'll have to see on the pit stop strategies. But he's hanging in there, he's doing well, staying away from Johnson in 5th, and then you've got Ricky Bobby, Cameron Magruder in the Porsche as well. There's quite a few Porsches in the top 11. Hideyoshi gets into P10, that's quite a few in the top 10. But yeah, Porsche looking like it's a good car so far, especially for qualifying around Circuit de la Sarthe. Mustang's up there with obviously Ferret in the McLaren. Here Nick de Brick holding off Cameron Magruder, sorry, who's in the green Rexy, and then behind him is the other Magruder in the pink Rexy. I should say Roxy.
He knows the lore. He knows the AO lore. There's a lot of it nowadays. But Nick de Brick, we got. I didn't even remember the Pegasus that was running at Le Mans. I didn't even remember the name, but that was the newest edition. But yeah, Nick de Brick made his way up one Magruder last lap. Immediately made it up another one. I'm curious though what went down with Jerome NP in the Porsche, which I believe he's just going to go around just a bit. And I think
Cameron doesn't know which car to choose.
No, it does not. He does stay out of the wall, but I do believe that's, well, I've already now found an issue with the machine, is it tends to really want to stick on a different car. We're already getting into a fight pretty much. I know what it was doing now. It was trying to look at Dion Campbell because he's in a fight, but we were in a replay, and the machine didn't know that. Sneaky move from Laurent Georgi up into Mulsanne corner. And we're back to Jerome NP as he got out of the Porsche curves. But yeah, like you said, kept it out of the wall, into the gravel, though. It's going to allow Rodney Ramsey to kick it into gear, open it up just a bit. But mostly clean stuff.
Struggling in that Porsche.
I think so.
Just looks like Jerome's just struggling in the Porsche track. Like, Porsche curves it seems very simple and easy, but in these GT cars, you don't have the downforce that you're probably used to if you're driving the prototypes. And it gets a little bit loose. I drove the Mustang here before, and it's, I drove it after driving a hypercar, and it was a little bit sketchy, so you got to remember that. But here we see Nick de Brick on, looks like, that's Ricky Bobby in the shelled livery Porsche, and does make the move into the Porsche curves.
It's really moving.
Yeah, it's you see the rear end of the Mustang there. It gets a little bit loose, and that's what you fear, especially in these cars. And as we know, any car, be it a GT3, be it a LMP prototype, or even a hypercar, as we see in the background, that would be Abbott, I think, in the BMW P11, just going sideways.
That was Brent Abbott dropping back just a bit. I think he's finally getting back onto the circuit. But we're looking at a bit of, well, this isn't friendly fire. This is family fire between the two Magruders. Randy overtaking his young son, Cameron. Cameron, of course, fighting for victory in the Pro-Am category. Was doing well at the start of the race, but maybe seems to be falling back just a bit. I think the nature of that might be a little bit to do with how his fuel saving strategy is. We know he's a saver, and around Le Mans you can do a heck of a lot of it, but if you do too much, you can slow yourself down. So maybe the young driver needing to adjust rather quickly. Craig S., the driver we're on board with now, is chasing down Dion Campbell. Corvette versus BMWs. Lots of Freedom machines driving around, and this is a very prevalent weekend for Freedom machines. Isn't that right, Ted?
Sure is. It was 4th of July for me at least 2 days ago, and it doesn't really affect me too much being an Englishman, but you know, I stayed with the spirit, and I was driving a Mustang and a Cadillac on Friday and Saturday, so you know, sort of sticking with it as the fake American as I am known. Yeah, it's nice to see some of the Freedom machines out here today. That'd be it for a Sunday for you guys. It is obviously now Monday for me. Yes, just get me a little bit sometimes with the time zones. Well, I'm in the future, Joe.
You are. So, anything they need to learn? Anything important that's going to happen in the next 5 hours, 6 hours, however many hours?
Nah.
Okay. Good enough. We'll be back. We'll come back next week.
We'll have an update
from the future. I have to say that the machine's doing a good job. Outside of queuing that replay, because Ted and I are both broadcasters, and we do a lot of LMU, actually pretty much primarily LMU nowadays, and every single time there's an update to our broadcast tool, we do not do this in our free time. No, we practice it live. We say frick it, we're doing it live, and I'm kind of enjoying a little bit of hands off. Everything's being ran, the overlays, the cameras, the fights, everything rigged up for us, and I think it's cool. Hopefully those of you at home are enjoying it as well. It hopefully means that we won't miss a whole lot, and over the next 2 hours at least I will have slightly more energy, slightly more focus, since I don't have to do as much work. A bit of management here and there, but no, I neat as heck. And impending endurance racing, as we've been hoping for and praying for the last 6 months.
A while.
I think we might have a new trick up our sleeve. Those night stints. Ooh. Randy Magruder having a sniff.
Oh, they're going too wide into the Porsche curves, Jack.
They are. This could get a little bit wrong, but I think one of them's going to have to concede, and it's going to be Ricky Bobby from the outside. I think that's the fair dues to them. That's not somewhere you want to go too wide. I was going to say he looks like he's going in a little bit hot, a little bit of a scrape of the wall.
Too hot.
Hot and heavy into the Porsche curves in a Porsche.
Yeah. We're going to have to get on board when we come through there next with some cars to see how much correction they are doing through there, because as we've already seen, it is a tricky corner in like the whole way through the Porsche curves. You know, the beginning, middle, as we just see in the middle, and obviously the end we saw with Abbott earlier in the BMW going sideways. It's you know, your car feels planted, and yeah, you got downforce, but I know these guys drive LMP2s and probably hypercars as well. And you get so used to the downforce through there with them cars, you jump into one of these and you sort of trust the car, and then you realise, oh, I'm going sideways, as we saw Joram do earlier in their pink purple Porsche. And once these cars go, well, any cars in LMU go sideways, it's quite difficult to correct the car again. So we'll have to try and see if we can get it on board either soon or later on when the tyres start to fade away, because it's going to be quite interesting to see the what happens with the tyre wear and how they have to take it differently. Because I know earlier on today, did the LMP2 race, and it was on a 2 times. I think it was on 2 times progression with the time, and it got cold, and I had to go through there slower, even in the unrestricted LMP2. It got a little bit sketchy, Jack. I was 3 seconds slower through there, same with everyone else, and yeah, did not trust the car one bit. So I think that's going to be the same with the tyre wear that these guys have today. And I think Nick DeBrick is losing time in that Ford Mustang. Not sure why he has dropped 3 positions and probably going to drop another one to Hideyoshi. He looks broken, Jack.
I think so. I think he's just had to slow down coming out of the chicane. I'm wondering if maybe either a half spin or an accidental cut meant that he wanted to avoid a penalty by slowing down.
Fine,
yeah, looks like it's tracking reasonably straight, looking like it's still quick, but a fairly costly mistake. There was no local yellow thrown as a result, so it was, my guess, at most a half spin, but also I have a sneaking suspicion it is just a matter of losing momentum from not wanting to get a penalty. But the good news is that we get to see him do some more overtaking, because he did a lot in the beginning stages of the race, and he's gonna keep doing it now. He's already right up the back of Cameron Magruder, I guess, looking on Dion Campbell again, been sniffing. It's gonna be doing it all night long. Now the Rem Wink in the Ferrari 296 is having a think, having a look. Come out of Mulsanne corner there. Reasonably spread out. Not quite as nose to tail as I was expecting, but I mean, a 2-hour race, Ted, we sort of talk about it like it is a sprint race, which by nature it sort of is, but for a single driver, when it's accelerated, you know, time scale within the sim, accelerated tire wear, accelerated fuel, it is a mini endurance. The cars are experiencing a 4-hour race. And in 2 hours for a driver is nothing really to scoff at. So they're going to have to play this one sort of long, and they're going to have to play this one smart. And if they're going to make a move, make it smartly. Nick DeBrick, we looked away for maybe 10 seconds. He's already up a position. So he's playing it quick. Pedal to the metal, V8 motor, screaming eagles, etc., etc.
Yeah, well, this is what I was going to say. Oh, he hit the wall hard with his right side of that car. Luckily, he keeps it going in a straight line, but that was a heavy hit. Hopefully, he hasn't broken any suspension. We'll see. But yeah, he got past Cameron Magruder pretty quickly due to Cameron is saving a lot of energy right now. Cameron is on 34% compared to Nick DeBrick's 23, which is not the lowest. Saba's on 22, but close with the other Mustang. So Cameron's saving a bit. Hideyoshi's on 30. We've got Ricky Bobby on 31, so he's saving a bit. The other Magruder in 6th place is on 24, so they are not saving. Whereas Ferrer on 32 and Nelson on 28. So it's a very big mixture of who's saving and who's not saving. So we'll see who's going to start jumping people in the pit lane with the saving of an extra lap. But yeah, obviously Cameron might be doing his thing where he saves too much and might start falling back, but we'll have to wait and see with the pit stops. As Craig S on the back of Campbell, he's sitting in the slipstream. Not sure how the Corvette's going to do around this track. I know the Corvette has got some love again in this latest patch and has got pretty quick, so we'll have to see what the top speed is. Obviously he's going to have slipstream down the Mulsanne going wide. That's going to be a cut, Jack.
That is going to be a cut.
As we cut away.
As we do cut away, the machine is very particular on what it wants to look at and when. We're looking at the closest cars of the moment. Just ahead though, you can see a Mustang and a Lexus dueling, and we got a Lamborghini and a BMW dueling. Ted is graphic, otherwise known as I call him ARL Ted, because there's 2 Teds now. There's British Ted and ARL Ted. Is in the YouTube chat. He's a bit surprised to see Ricky Bobby specifically saving fuel, and I think everybody's sort of wising up to that throughout this season. I noticed it a lot last season as well. It sort of seemed like everybody was sprint racing and going full pedal, full most of the time, and it doesn't really... It's not the best way to complete a race in LMU. It's such a different sort of race that you need to do. You can hear, whenever we go on board with these cars, these 200-meter lifts that just about everybody's doing in order to save a reasonable amount of fuel, because they have to do... You know, they have half the time to save fuel. They have half the number of laps. They have virtually half the fuel tank. So it changes up the race, and a lot of drivers wising up to it. Energy getting lower, lower, lower. And the big standouts, you said, Ted, looks to be the big thirsty Mustangs. Well, a few of them. But Miguel Saba from the front of the field, which almost... by the way, the machine just did that as I started talking to him. I'm kind of amazed right now.
Learning.
I think it's... I'm wondering what so I get told what the reasoning is, and I'm looking, and it's just focusing on him because we feel like it. But he's running really quick laps, 3 seconds to P2, but he's using an extra lap of fuel compared to the likes of Nelson and Farah behind, which I think are going to be the real threats here come the end of the race. Bit of correction from Franz Alarcon, the other driver that is using a lot of gas. But we'll see now. I'm hopefully we're nearing the Porsche curves, and hopefully whoever we're with, I could maybe try to see if we can hold on to see the steering input here.
Down to third gear. Oh, letting the Lamborghini through.
Interesting.
That's why they went down to third. That's a scary thing to see, especially we're at this camera angle where we obviously don't have the helicourse or the radar for other cars on your inside or whatnot. But definitely not something you want into the Porsche curves, and definitely you don't want this into the Porsche Canes. Cameron Magruder trying to go for a move, and Ricky Bobby does make it through. Some cars coming down pit lane already. Jack Saber, Parker, Nelson, and Johnson. Randy Magruder and the Brick all into their pit stops because they've not saved enough fuel. Yeah. Farah into first, and then Cameron Magruder, Ricky Bobby staying out as well. Got enough for one more lap.
It's a really tidy move, I have to say. That's not somewhere
it was good.
You're able to do that easy. Absolutely, mounting the curb like that, but positioning it in the center of the car was a really smart thing to do for Cameron. Interestingly, I was saying that Nelson, he was fuel saving, but I think he miscalculated on this first stint. He did not save an extra lap, and that's going to come back to bite him throughout the race because he's going to be off strategy. Because I'm going to be honest, from my many hours of viewing and some hours of driving, the correct strategy is the one that everybody is on first to about fifth. Everybody who's saving fuel, saving a lap, their pace isn't so much slower. That was a massive lift. That was 2 lifts down the straight for Ricky Bobby. That's a bit interesting to see, but I do think that's the prime strategy. You put yourself in the best position so that you have the shortest final stop, or possibly tonight, Ted, maybe even eliminating an extra stop that some may have to do. So, I mean, it'll all come due by the final tick of the clock in 1 hour and 38 minutes, but it's looking like it'll be a fight on strategy, like it always is. You know, we don't love to see races determined in pit lane, but that is the nature of endurance-ish racing. That's this class of racing, by the way, patent pending, endurance-ish.
Something to Georgi, he's dropped a load of positions, Jack, down into 19th place. Was the yellow flag for a second. Wonder if you've got a little replay to show us?
We're gonna try. See if I got the machine to work side by side with a Mustang. A little bit of a squeeze as they come under the Goodyear bridge, and a misjudgment. Maybe a little bit of a brake check as well from that Mustang by Laurent Georgi. I do, quite honestly, I want to go back and look at that again from an onboard, because that is a sort of flat out corner. Yorgie's coming around. I wanted to see if we'd be able to spot the brake lights of the Mustang in the super slow motion, because it seemed like the Mustang started to stop really quickly.
He did.
That is on the brakes.
That's weird.
That is actively on the brakes.
You don't brake there, Jack.
That is absolutely not where you brake.
There's two things you do there. You lift, or you keep your foot down. It's once you get straight, that's when you start braking. And in any race car here, as you can see, the flashing of the lights. Interesting.
That is really strange.
Even I don't understand why they put the foot on the brake.
I have a couple theories, maybe two things. One of which, well, could be two things altogether. It could have been they were seeing, yellow or orange or red on for cutting the track limits. They might have gone a bit wide in turn 3 and were quickly trying to get rid of that. Maybe also they had an illegal overtake warning. That is something that can happen. So they were trying to get rid of that quickly. But to do it on the racing line with another car fighting you is what could only be described as extremely ill-advised.
Campbell's ran out of fuel, Jack. Campbell's ran out of fuel.
Oh my goodness, I think he might... He's on 0%.
Wink and Campbell were side by side going out of the Porsche curves, and the next minute he just dropped 3 seconds, and it went to 0. Obviously, that's 0 for us. That could be 0.2 for him.
He's maybe underpowered.
Savvy yellow flagged.
He's underpowered.
Savvy was just yellow flagged as well. Yep. Oh, this is getting heated up, Jack, because Ferrer's in the pit lane. Now he's leaving his pit box right in front of Campbell. We're watching coming in.
He made it.
No
penalty.
He did make it. Well, we'll find out when he comes out of the box. I think. I'm not sure. We'll see. Oh.
Anyways,
that's
back that one up. Whoa, that's a incident. Miguel Saba.
Where's the Porsche going?
And see, coming into the braking zone. Whoa, it's a misjudgment.
Oh my God.
Ted, we know how that happens now, don't we? You're in the slipstream of a car.
On board. Yeah. I'll be able to see it on board of the Porsche.
Indeed, sir. Let me give it. Oh no, maybe. Hold on. I got this. I got this.
He's got it, guys.
All right, there we go.
Here we go.
Like a professional.
So I wonder if Saba was lifting. We'll see if those brake lights come on, because that is a braking zone. Obviously, if
he lifts, you can hear it. You could just barely hear the Mustang begin to lift.
Jeez.
And it's just...
That's a heavy hit.
Yeah, that's a really big shunt.
I don't think it is. It didn't look straight.
That's damaged. That's damaged.
Oh, yeah, it is damaged. It's damaged. There's some suspension going on there.
Yep. That is certainly some issues happening.
Oh, that's your leader in the pit lane. Ferrer is already gone. Saba is down into P20, 1 minute and 20 seconds behind. Nelson is in the lead over Ferrer now. As Nelson came in first because he did not fuel save enough. Oh, that's not a good day for Saba in the Mustang. That makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah, it does. And speaking of Mustangs getting hit in the back, because we saw earlier on the Mustang of... I'm immediately forgetting who it was. It was Franz Alarcon we saw with actually this car. Laurent Georgi. Well, these two that are side by side, actually, as I'm talking about them. The machine's really on form tonight. But Ted Piper brought up another good point in the YouTube chat, saying that maybe it wasn't a brake check, maybe it was also a lift. But it may have been, but the rate at which that Mustang sort of slowed down, we were watching in super slow motion, but I mean, it seemed a bit different. It kind of looked like the rear brake lights were on, but it's also a little bit hard to tell. It could have been a similar situation where it wasn't a brake check and it was a lift. You can, It's not. I was doing
but
it earlier today.
make-
It doesn't make that much of a difference. I wouldn't advise it, and I can see a reason why maybe you shouldn't.
I mean, if you're trying to save 2 extra laps over the 1 lap that a lot of people do, then sure. But when you're that high up in your position, you don't want to risk it too much. As we see, nib to break on Hideyoshi. Does make it
Mustang's
through
a rocket in a
before
straight line.
Indy. Oh, it's lovely, Jack. It's lovely.
Ted Edwards very happy.
You can't fault a Mustang.
Mustang in the top 5. You can fault a Mustang if that Mustang was sent into a barrier. That is
okay.
fault. But here comes Franz Alarcon. Slightly similar situation, but slightly different result. It isn't Mustang overtaking a Porsche before Indy. It's a Mustang thinking about it, but not quite having the run. But it's very interesting. The difference in fuel strategy sort of creating accidents on the racetrack. Not something that I had really seen before. Not something I'm unfamiliar with by any measure. But it's such a difficult thing to call to make. I'm not a steward or someone who's probably smart enough to make decisions about things. But because you think about it, Ted, you're like, oh, there's a guy right behind me. I'm on my fuel strategy. How are they going to know that I'm going to lift here? Does that mean I shouldn't lift? But also, they're entitled to do that. They as the leading car, they can sort of do what they want, just like the car behind could choose to lift there as well. It's maybe something where if they are nose to tail like that, you should maybe sort of think this could cause an accident. It's such a split-second thing as well as most sort of incidents in sim racing and real-life racing are, that you have to have all of your bearings to be able to even think about making that call in that moment. But it's something that happens. It's something you sort of need to be aware of, and maybe as a result of the few that we've seen already tonight, maybe these drivers are gonna learn that lesson and be like, hey, maybe in the future, I need to sort of put my strategy in a different place. Maybe move to a different part of the circuit if there's a car behind me, and lift not directly in front of them. I don't know. I feel like it sounds like I'm putting the blame on the car that's leading. I'm not, but ultimately they're the one who has to. They're the one in control of that incident because they know what they're gonna do. The car behind can only react but so quick. I don't know. It's one to think about. It's one to think about.
It's difficult because I've done it before where you need to learn what the car in front's doing. You need to understand what their lines are, where they're lifting, where they're braking, where they're accelerating, because that's when you know where you can make a move and what you can do and how you can react. And obviously some of these guys are a lot quicker than the guy in front, so they catch up really quickly. They want to go for a move, so they've not really learned their lines. And of course, this is quite a long track, so you don't have much time to figure out what they're doing for the whole lap of this circuit. But it's something as a racing driver you've got to sort of understand pretty quickly on what is happening in front of you. But also, like you say, you need to understand from the guy in front what the person behind's doing. As we see here, Alacron trying to go for a move on Dent and does make it into the second chicane, the Daytona chicane. And just slows down because of the cut. Maybe doesn't want to bounce off the curb. Just going into a bit too quick and a bit too deep, and loses quite a bit of time on that Porsche. But
yeah, I think that was, honestly speaking of smart things to do, he went off the circuit instead of re-entering at slightly below racing speed for Daniel Kent to maybe run into them. He decided, I'm just gonna take it easy, not cause an incident. I mean, that's fairly heads up. You're not gonna have to slow down coming out of the corner, most likely because of that, and very heads up thing to do. More side by side down the straights. This is the circuit of pass, repass, the Church of Slipstream.
Go.
Juan Botero is in fact going up into 9th and holding it into Indianapolis. I'm just going to say it. Indianapolis might be one of the most difficult corners in all of sim racing.
It's a fun corner though.
It really, I do enjoy it. It's so committed.
It's yeah. You have to commit somewhat, even when you're fuel saving. It's such a fast corner, and doing it in a GTE or one of the prototypes that doesn't have ABS, you've got to get your braking perfect. If you go deep, it's not too bad as long as you can keep it out of the gravel. But if you lock up or you spin, then just say goodbye to your race, because you probably are going to lose your rear wing and you're most likely going to lose one of your tyres. It's a nerve-wracking corner, especially when you're going from the day to night cycle. You know, you got to change. You got to remember where your braking points are, your different light levels. You got to, you know, have more concentration in the dark. I think there is some lights down there that do help, some floodlights, so not too bad. But it's a difficult corner, but it's one of the ones where you wake up for halfway through your stint, halfway through your lap in the stint, and then you go back to sleep until you get to the Porsche curves and Ford chicanes. But no, it is a good track. I was just looking at the energy a minute ago, Jack, and Nelson is only on 50% compared to Ferrer's 70. As Alacron trying to get past Dent again into the Ford chicanes. That's very risky and quite a bit of time lost to the cars in front, but does make it through in the Ford Mustang, as we see there. The energy 46% for Nelson, 64 for Ferrer, and it's 40s, mid to low 40s for the cars behind, and Cameron Magruder and Ricky Bobby on 67 and 65%. So 3 cars doing some fuel saving, doing it well. Some other cars trying to go flat out and trying to get the pace in front. Now, I know from today, Jack, Nelson was in the LMP2 and he sort of fuel saving. He was pitting the same laps as me, but he is a quick guy and one to look out for to see if they win this race today. Obviously, different machinery, different usage of fuel, even though it is still 2 times. But these cars can go longer on a normal fuel anyway, normal fuel usage. So we'll have to wait and see. Hour and 25 minutes left. And still some cars battling out up and down the field.
Now is going to be the part of the program where we get to chat about possibly, at least for me, you probably will agree with me, some of the most exciting news that has come to LMU ever as they come through the Daytona chicane. Perfect segue. Ladies and gentlemen, Daytona is coming to Le Mans Ultimate. That has officially been announced as of yesterday evening, along with Laguna Seca in the first of 3 track packs that will all be IMSA circuits. We do not know what the other 4 circuits are. There are guesses, but at the moment we know that it's Daytona. And I think most of those theories are right. Road America, or excuse me, Road Atlanta. Well, Road America would be great too. Road Atlanta is the only other thing I require. It's actually the only thing I require of every IMSA track. My wish for Petite. My wish for Petite Le Mans is stronger than my will to live. To be able to do a proper Petite Le Mans on Le Mans Ultimate, to drive it, to commentate it, both, all of it, yes, please. So hopefully that will be coming soon, but it is Daytona International Raceway and WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. 2 unbelievably good tracks. You love Daytona. I also love Daytona.
I love Daytona.
It's my home circuit, technically, as a Orlando native. And Laguna Seca is amazing.
We need
super underrated, by the way.
We need hosted 24 hours just for Daytona. That's it. And that's it. Like Daytona is such a good, like in iRacing, it's amazing. It brings a lot of people in. You have so many splits in iRacing for that one weekend, and if they can bring that for us, or they can do their own 24 hours on a weekend, they'd have so many people flocking in because it's such a good circuit, and you can run all 3 classes.
Yeah,
you can, and you'll get a decent. Like, I know, we know LMP2s are really only in like the top 3 splits because there's not many of them, or maybe the top 2. I'm pretty sure they'll get at least 5-6 splits of LMP2s with the hypercars and GT3s because it's such a nice circuit. You don't have to concentrate too much. It's good, relaxing endurance racing. The other track that I would like to come, Jack, is Watkins Glen.
I knew you were going to say it.
Because
everybody loves the Glen.
The flow is so nice on that track, and they can have the normal layout with the boot, and they can have the non-boot version as well. Because obviously we know
you could do the short
LMU,
track. Yep.
Yeah, in LMU we have different layouts of tracks, and there you go. There's 2 layouts you can
Well, they
get
could do
there
3.
straight away.
They could do without the inner loop, without the bus stop, and just have it be flat. Which I
Oh,
think, by the way, vastly inferior to the inner loop layout. I'm just gonna say it.
Different.
It's so
It's
different.
like Monza without turn 1. It throws you off a little
worse.
bit.
I think Curva Grande has the Curva Grande layout has a bit to it. I think it could be pretty. It's pretty entertaining. But without the, without the inner loop,
without
it's just
the chicane on. Yeah. Without that chicane, because that's
adds so much.
You're coming into carousel. Oh, carrying so much speed, but oh, honestly, Watkins Glen. Yes, please.
Great circuit. I'm not.
Studio 397, please.
I think it's so the theory. There was an image that was posted and it showed 5 sort of what seemingly randomly placed stars on a black background, and lots of people are using that to theorize what circuit it is. If they would say those stars matched up on a map of the U.S., which I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of with that theory because it all does match up to racing circuits. Though in their announcement they said road courses, they did not say street circuits, so I think the theory of Long Beach coming might not happen, which, be honest, I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna cry too hard about. A street track in LMU would be fantastic just by nature of the netcode and the super close racing that it creates. It would be great, but if we're only getting 6 of the 11 or 12 IMSA circuits, I don't think Long Beach should be one of them. Sorry if you're a thorough Long Beach enjoyer.
I think as well, it's the licensing. Obviously, we know iRacing owns the IMSA license, so obviously we can't have every IMSA track in LMU, as far as I know.
It is a non-exclusive license. It could. There's nothing stopping them from purchasing the IMSA license, but I don't know if they're entirely going to go and do that. There is a race on in the background. We'll talk about it for 2 seconds. Laurent Georgi up on Daniel Kent. The mighty Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2 is underway. The question is, when? Temerario when? That is, of course, the replacement for the Huracan. When? It isn't in wet competition, though, to be fair, but it is in just about everything else. It's running in IMSA, DTM, G2 World Challenge as well. They all have Temerarios running about, so...
There's a lot of wins for some of these cars, like the lowered wing Cadillac.
Well, that's coming. They needed to finish it. I imagine when Daytona and Laguna Seca show up.
So what I've heard is it's going to be a new car model.
Oh.
So it could just be a theory, but from what I've seen, and also with the Toyota, obviously it's just a reskin of the old Toyota. That it should be coming as its own car model because it is a different aero pack. Same with some of the other cars that did get an upgrade to the visuals. It should be its own car, and I think the Mustang was the same. That's got some more fins for downforce and stuff, and I want them to add that. I want them to have different cars. I want them to have the newer car, like we're used to it in iRacing and Circuit Competiciones, where they would give you another car, or like on that game, they had the Mercedes Evo 2. They upgraded the existing car model because there wasn't much difference. It was setup values. The wing was changed. Instead of having 11 as the max downforce on the wing, they made it to 7 because that's what the real life one was like. So some of the cars that are like that, where it's only a little change, they could just upgrade the car model, which I don't think they will. I think they'll add a new car model, but that's what they should do, because we could run the old cars as a series, or we can run the new cars as a series, or you can run both in a series and see what the bots are like against each other and see how they are. Especially at a track like this, where you got the long straights for some of the cars that are better at the straight line speed, and then the corners for some cars that are good at the corners. So
I think that's fair.
Hopefully, new car models, because I know a lot of the Toyota drivers want the new model, want to know how the downforce is.
Yeah, it is a better car, and
yeah, you're just driving the new look, not actually.
It's
the
so
new car
pretty
itself.
though, and that does make you faster. Prettiest hypercar, period.
Yeah.
No, done. If you say Cadillac, you're wrong. The Cadillac is not pretty. It's not
No,
a pretty.
Cadillac just sounds beautiful.
Valkyrie sounds better.
Nah,
They sound different, but the
Sorry,
Valkyrie
V8.
sound better.
V8 motor.
Yeah. All right, what is the prettiest? What is the prettiest hypercar if you do not agree with the me decreeing a Toyota?
I've never looked at them and gone, oh, that's a pretty car.
So you're just disagreeing with me to be contrarian. Okay, cool. I got it.
It's like I look at the GTs
so
and I'm like,
mean
Mustang.
to
The
me.
Mustang looks good. I like the look of the Mustang, and it's not because it's a V8. I just like the look of the Mustang.
He
Like the
likes
rear lights
big
are really
American
cool.
bricks because he's an American.
I am a person who likes bricky cars. Like the old BMWs are like pretty brick-like, like road cars, that is, should I say, like from the 90s and the early 2000s. They're just pretty blocky, like an old Volvo. I do like that sort of look of a car. You know, all these curves and stuff, obviously race cars, aerodynamics, understandable, and that's fine. But yeah, I guess I'm just a bit odd.
Yeah, well, everybody's got their taste. It's one of the beautiful things about cars in general and motorsport is everybody got what they like and can enjoy them in different ways. And there ain't nothing in the world wrong with that. The second set of pit stops have begun. Vast majority of cars jumping down into pit lane. Still waiting on the top 8 to actually take their stops. Josh Nelson, I think writing is wrong a little bit. That he managed to save an extra lap compared to what he did in the last stint, so he's sort of offsetting himself just a little bit, but it's still...
He did that earlier today.
Yeah, you can make that mistake once in a race and maybe come back from it a little bit. You're still working to offset, but he's not nearly close enough if he wanted to get on strategy with Nelson, or excuse me, with Farah, with Magruder, with Ricky Bobby, Wink, and Campbell, who all are doing an incredibly excellent job. They're saving almost 2 laps.
Yeah,
I do believe.
I think with Nelson,
excuse me, they're saving 2 laps compared to, or a single lap compared to what everybody else is doing, but that is now 2 laps because it's the second stint. That is how math works.
Oh, that's a big one, Jack.
I did not realize that was I thought it was a stop and go 30. That's a stop and go. Hold for 100 seconds. For those of you that don't understand what that means, because that's kind of a complicated thing, maximum energy allowance. So with your virtual energy tank, that is what they got done for.
Oh, we haven't seen that one yet, Jack.
That's why I didn't. I was gonna say that's why I didn't know that it was this intense. So with virtual energy, it isn't actually the fuel tank of of these race cars. It is the maximum allowance of fuel, and if it is a hybrid, electrical energy to basically deploy on a stint. It's a way of balancing all these cars so that they roughly have the same amount of fuel mileage. So, excuse me, you can have more fuel than virtual energy. Generally, that's sort of what you want. So he isn't an empty fuel tank. He still has fuel. The car is still running. Is Daniel Kent's Porsche, and it incurs, as it turns out, an extremely hefty penalty. That is the largest penalty I think possible on LMU outside of disqualification. I have never seen SG
even the drive-through doesn't take this long.
100. No, there are stop goes. It's usually a stop and go 10 seconds. So he has to drive into pit lane, sit in his box for 100 seconds, which is about twice as long as you need to fully fuel the car and prepare it for another stint, and then he can leave. That does not include taking
that doesn't
on
include
fuel.
the pit stop. No.
Yep, you cannot take on fuel during that time.
like, does he have to do the penalty and then go out and then come back around? Because that wouldn't work. So yeah, yeah, sucks. He's gonna drop all the way. I don't know if he'll drop all the way back. He might lose to. No, I don't think he'll lose to Ramsey. No, he's 20 seconds back.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
gonna
actually,
drop
he
to the back
might.
of this
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
He's gonna drop to the back of this field.
That's
So I think at the
we've
moment,
not done it and we've never seen it. That's
so I've done it. I've done it in a qualifying session before, and I remember seeing a stop
Okay.
and go 30. I think maybe I've done it in a practice session as well, and I've never done it in a race. And ladies and gentlemen, please don't do it.
Please
in
don't.
a race.
But it's
because-
interesting to know like how Kent didn't.
Oh no. Oh, I was curious
not
why.
fuel?
I was curious why he was sitting still. He also didn't even have enough fuel
No,
or
'cause his
energy to make it to
Yeah.
his pit box. So Daniel Kent, with this penalty overhead, it doesn't matter because unless somebody comes and gives that Porsche
Pushes
a
him,
push,
yeah.
it is going nowhere.
So for the viewers at home, yeah, you have fuel and you have virtual energy. Why don't they run out at the same time? Well, in your setup you can have a fuel to energy ratio, and you can do it 1-to-1, so you have the same, but obviously they'll be used differently. So your fuel could burn more than your energy, or your energy more than your fuel. Normally it's energy more than fuel, especially in hypercars. And obviously Kent's got his ratio very close to his fuel. His energy to his fuel. So if he went for, let's say, a 0.89, we normally run about a 0.89, 0.85 sometimes in like the hypercars and that. He would have made it to his box still with the penalty, but been able to do a full service. Obviously, his penalty and a full service. But yeah, he is now stuck. Like that's again, we haven't actually seen that yet in the broadcast, Jack. And wait, how long have we been doing this for? A good year?
A good year. Speaking of Goodyear, tire sponsor of the WEC. But no, it's been a while. I haven't seen it. I've gotten stranded in a pit lane though like that several times. I did it a week ago. I was trying to be a bit silly with my fuel, and I was like, I can stretch this, and unfortunately got it wrong. I ran out of fuel today, but that was because I knew I wouldn't finish the race anyways, so
We know a friend who ran out of fuel today, and they were in third place in an LMP3.
That's true. He did do that. He he ended up using a bit more fuel than he was expecting, and ran out around.
See,
I think
it's
Barcelona.
like when I do my last. Yeah, it was when I do my last stint. I always put like, even though the in-game fuel requirement tells you to put this amount of like percentage in, which normally gives you an extra lap, I always go a little bit more, because I've had it once where I've ran out of fuel and I never want to do it again. I'd rather have a little bit more weight, because an extra lap doesn't really add much weight to you. It just takes more time in the pit lane. I'd rather lose time in the pit lane than lose basically all my positions that I gained.
Yep. It's kind of a
it's the
mistake
thing
you
that,
really
you know,
only make
saves-
once.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm so good for Kent. He's done so well in that Porsche, to be where he was, and a little mistake like that is quite upsetting. Hideyoshi overtakes Cameron Magruder, who comes out of pit lane. Saba, Campbell, Wink, and Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby just left pit lane, but the other three are in the pit lane, and two of them are leaving. Saba taking on fuel now. He's quite low. Obviously, he had the early pit stop earlier on after the incident that they had. But Ferrer over Johnson over Nelson is now in third, Jack. So Johnson overtakes him with the pit stop.
That was a Porsche that was briefly perpendicular on the circuit. I don't know if you caught that, but
nope.
I believe that was Alexander Stanziola, because I saw Tetsuo Hideyoshi flashing lights. I was like, well, that's
they DNF'd as well, Jack.
Random. Yep, and I saw them pop out from the screen. Once this fight is decided between father and son, I will take a look, but coming out of pit lane, I'm going to almost guarantee on a fresh set of tires, so they're a bit cold.
They have
Cameron
been yellow
Magruder
flagged a few times.
is falling down. Yes, a bit of a tricky race for the bunch, so we'll see how exactly they ended up perpendicular and whenabouts they decided to disappear. First couple
Going
of
through the
corners,
S's.
up onto the curb, I think, and starts to go around.
Oh.
Powell not quite holding the brakes all the way, and ends up
near the
sort
racing
of...
line, near the racing line.
Yep, I think
That's
you'll see a flash of
scary.
lights maybe appear for a second.
Oh, that's sensible. Trying to get it off the track rather than trying to retire to the garage there and then, just trying to get it out of the way in case anyone comes. I mean, you saw it on was it Saturday, Jack? I was spun there in my Cadillac.
You
And
were.
the Cadillac's a little bit longer. And
Well, you also used the throttle pedal to try to re-enter the circuit. You thought it was clear.
One car got past. I thought it was clear.
It
and
wasn't quite clear.
Yeah. But luckily, the Aston Martin was fine. I
True. Well, it was fine relative. It did a 360
Yeah,
and was slightly bent
I hit
suspension
him in the
wise.
door, so.
Well, you hit him. I think you hit him in the suspension. You hit him. You hit him far enough that
He said he was fine. So.
Yeah. Well,
so
Milan van der Vecken
he got
also
lucky.
can probably drive a toaster and be like, it's fine.
So much better than this. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's quite a scary place to be, because you cannot see unless you have triples or some way to look left and right, which I don't. Trying to keep looking at your relative while trying to get your car like parallel to the track and like, get out of everyone's way when you're basically on the racing line in a high-speed corner like that is not the best feeling in the world. But Stanizola getting off the racing line to then retire to the garage is very sportsmanlike, and we like to see that.
Yeah.
But an hour and 5 minutes left of this race, and it's not cooled down. The track has though, pretty sure, because we are into the thick of the night. As Jack flips up the session information,
It was the robot,
10,
surely.
29,
It wasn't me.
and okay, and
It was me.
and the track 25, which is pretty cool. I had this earlier on in MP2, and tires they had grip, but it wasn't as much as I had in the daytime. And coming through the Porsche curves was a little bit tricky. In this exit here, I was down a gear than I would normally, and did not feel very comfy with these guys looking like they do. Look like they have the grip and feel quite confident in the cars in this classification. GT3 is probably a little bit better in the cold than the P2s, but it's a few gaps up in front that are quite big, whereas these three Porsches still quite close together, and Joram in the background being followed by Abbott in the BMW quite close as well. I think Kent is also still sat in pit lane, just waiting.
Yep.
Waiting for a mate.
I think he's hoping someone's going to drive into pit lane and maybe give him a push to their box, which I don't think anybody is actually going to consider that. There's really nobody in this field right now who's ready to...
He's in a VC with some people, but I think they're fighting for position, so they're not going to take time out their day to push him and lose.
And also potentially damage their front bumper and or splitter. It is just a bit of Porsche on Porsche action pretty much all the way. I think that was a bit of chatting between Randy and Tetsuo Hideyoshi. I think Randy said, "I'm going to try to overtake you," and Tetsuo said, "Okay, give it your best shot," because he's giving it a go. They're going to enter into the Daytona chicane. I think it was, "I'm going to go past you," and Tetsuo said, "Yeah, sure, that's fine. We're on two different strategies." I think maybe that was what that was, because after all, virtual energy on screen, very different strategies indeed. Tetsuo more on the full fuel saving diet, and Randy electing to give it some and try to cover ground better on pace. So, bit of inter-class play. Of course, a reminder, there are 3 distinct classes that are in this race, I will tell you, and I will take a second because I said I would do it at some point during the race, and I will take it and do it now because I'm going to show off the standings as we came into this round, and hopefully everything works properly. It seems that it has done, because this is the finale after all, and championships are to play for, but as it's gone here tonight, Richard Farrar, our current leader in the pro class, has it mostly in hand, though still an hour to go, so who knows? Chris Barnes is in second, Joshua Nelson is in third, Wally Johnson fourth, Nick DeBrick fifth, Miguel Angel Saba sixth, Diego St. Clair in seventh, Tetsu Hideyoshi eighth, Gabriel Prado in ninth, and Ricky Bobby is 10th in the pro class. Ruggiero, Luca Raza, Brent Abbott, Kevin Cerro Lozano, Angel Barrios, and Clay Parker are your remaining 6 drivers in pro class. Leading the Pro-Am category is Cameron Magruder. I will say I don't think that any of his real championship fighters are here tonight, so I think he's pretty much got this sewn up as long as he gets a handful of points and beats out his dear old dad. Juan Botero is in second, though. Carlos De La Torre is in third, and Randy Magruder is in fourth. Laurent Georgi in the Lamborghini. Definitely not a favorite of mine or anything like that. I would never show favoritism in my box. Danny Campbell, sixth. Craig S. seventh. Daniel Kent in ninth. Franz Alarcon in ninth. Rodney Ramsey in 10th. Cedric Larcher 11th, and Miles Ruinas is in 12th with a record-breaking -6 points in the championship. I have never seen a points total that low, so that's why I'm saying it's record-breaking.
Do you have to give back a trophy if you've won one if you get minus points?
Maybe. I can't say that I'm 100% sure. I maybe. Probably. That probably should be it. In the AM category, Rem Wink leads that class above Todd Tillery, who is in second. Final few, Jerome Dione in third, Alexander Stanziola in fourth, and Leon Vidal is in fifth, with Bruce Hopkins rounding out the full season board in seventh place in that category. Of course, still an hour to go before our season is fully wrapped up, but it is looking like everybody who is leading their respective championship stead will end up taking home trophies in 59 or so minutes, unless they make a really big boo-boo, which hopefully they don't.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Just having a look to see where everyone is at the moment as we're halfway into this race.
You math? It's dangerous, you know.
Well, I'm not mathing. I'm just seeing where everyone is.
Well, they're in the race car still.
Everybody, you're funny, Jack. I think I got everyone in the right order. I have sent it across to you.
To me.
As we have now seen, Daniel Kent, I believe he's back out on track. He has to stop and go 10 now, for some reason.
Oh.
And Joram, who I've just put as one of the people in the list, is now yellow flagged.
Oh. Well, let's see what's going on with Jerome, because it's clearly gone just a little bit wrong here. There was a pretty extended yellow flag. Found the Mulsanne, which is meaning that one of two things went straight.
Oh.
Well, that's a bit of curb. Or maybe not quite stepping out. He gets onto the other curb though, and then sort of piles straight in. And then reverses straight onto the racing line.
Sketchy.
Cameron Magruder sees it, dodges it, and Jerome gets back underway.
I wonder how broken he is, Jack, because that was a heavy front hit and a tap on the rear left.
That broken.
Oh, he broken. Oh, he broken.
That is the amount of broken that suspension is.
I want to see how his braking is into Mulsanne corner.
Yeah,
it's a little bit wiggly, but it's not too bad.
Thanks,
I had
ABS.
this earlier on in the LMP2, and it was okay until I didn't have it this bad. It was a little bit broken, but that's going to be low on speed, I'm going to say, and yeah, that is not fun. As we see there, a Corvette. I wonder if that's Ramsey. That's not. That's Craig S. just staying off the racing line, doing his own thing, and letting through Alacron.
What does the S stand for? It is a mystery. One I don't know the answer
Speed.
to.
Craig Speed.
Craig Speed. I drive a Corvette C8R LMG T3, and my name is Craig Speed. Well, Craig Speed's getting Craig done in right now. He just lost a position there to Clay Parker, who I have to say Clay was running up at least in the top 10. I think sort of towards the top sort of 8 or 7 cars, and he's now back down at a 14th. So something clearly has occurred to Clay Parker to actually find himself within a fight. But there's a good bit of metal. There's a good bit of meat still to go, and lots of movement happening. I was going to say, we're already to that time again where everybody's there. That is Jerome and P with the damaged Porsche.
Yeah.
Trying to stay out of everybody's way. Yeah. It's still going. Bit of rallycross.
That's I thought that might be a problem. Porsche curves, especially in these cars that don't have much downforce, and he's probably lost a little bit, especially on that front. I'm going to say that's a orange front bumper, which is the highest amount of damage I think you can get on a front bumper in any of these cars in the sim. And believe they are coming down pit. Well, I'm not going to say believe. They're pretty sure they're coming down pit lane to fix the car, and they are in with Abbott, DeBrink, Randy McGruger, Alacron, Gorgio, and Portiero. They're all in the pit lane. Ferrer with at least mid-40s of energy left. Nelson has got a little bit, but Johnson has dropped back behind Nelson, who is on quite a lot less energy. They were second, the BMW, but has dropped back somewhere, Jack, and I'm not sure where, because I don't know what the gap was, but they were in second place.
I think I'm wondering if it might have been a bit of raw pace from Joshua Nelson. They are on slightly offset fuel strategies at this point, but I think maybe a minor mistake, because nothing immediately appearing. I do, though, have a replay for when they changed positions. So let us see if maybe this answers our question. Was it a bit of raw pace from Joshua Nelson? Maybe was it Wally Johnson going a bit wide at Tete Rouge? No, both going through smoothly and cleanly. Yeah, after all, just a little bit slower. Josh had the run coming out, and I think the Porsche has a bit more top speed than the BMW tonight. It's sort of going back and forth, but I'm going to guess that he's going to get him on the brakes, and I was afraid that it was going to time out before that happened. But we can assume rightly that he was done in on the brakes because, of course, Joshua Nelson, number 4, leading over Wally Johnson in the 5.55. Richard Farah leading the race, extending the gap, extending the lead fairly regularly, and I think by the time pit stops happen, they are going to be well and truly out. The question on my mind, doing a little bit of mental math, I don't think, well, there might be an extra stop for some of these drivers. I think the likes of maybe those who just came in and perhaps have to come in on this lap.
Where's Wally? Because he's on 1%, Jack.
I'm pretty sure Wally Johnson is... Oh, good. Okay, I was worried. I was actually concerned. I thought he was still sort of on the back straight. He's actually...
now he's on
0.4%.
He should be fine.
That car is fully lifting. He's seen the stop and go 100 appear, surely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Good. We're good. Still 0.4%. We're good.
He'll be fine.
Pit lane on. I need to see this through. I must know what occurs. Still 0.4. Very economical into pit lane. Yeah, he will make it through this lap. But I think Wally Johnson and the others that come in on this lap very well might find themselves doing an extra pit stop, a splash and dash, Ted. before the end of this race. So we're currently serving our third stop, or we're getting ready to, for a lot of these cars to serve
Cameron
their third
Magruder
stop.
just had a yellow flag in sector 3. I wonder if that's going to be
Shall we check
either
in?
Porsche Curves or third, or the Ford Chicane. Yeah, we can.
What's your bet?
He was-
Porsche Curves or Ford Chicanes?
Or
I'm gonna
Ford
think.
Chicane.
I
Ford Chicane.
was gonna. Let's see if we're right.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
it's going to be Porsche Curves.
we might have been wrong.
Oh,
Here he
is it
is.
here? No.
Well,
Yeah, the wiggle.
Oh, on the
He's not gonna
curb.
set up-
Yep, he's just started to go around.
Does he save it? Does he save it? No.
Hit into the wall for Cameron and immediately spins it rounds. Fortunately, he had a gap just about, but not a catastrophic accident, mind you, but it is certainly one that I think that might be some damage repaired at the stop, which may sort of put him back down the order, may hurt his strategy just a little bit.
Wally Johnson finished their refueling in the pit lane, comes out in 7th. It seemed a pretty long pit stop. Puts them behind the brink, which is quite interesting.
I think it was
because
a
they
set
were
of tires.
second and ended up third. Yeah, they were they were in there for quite a while. But yeah, like you say, it could be a set of tires, which is interesting. Maybe it doesn't feel like they've got the grip in these temperatures, and thought maybe I'll go for a fresh set. We don't know what their tires look like right now. So, and we've never driven this sort of settings here at Le Mans or anywhere else really to understand what they're like on these cars. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see until we get a maybe a 24-hour here hosted by Studio 397 would be quite nice, and maybe take a GT3 to see what the tyre wear's like.
Not doing that.
But you won't. I know you won't. We know what a hypercar's like. We know what a P2's so good on its tyres.
Everything's pretty good. Le Mans is kind of
I
famous in GTs and LMP2s for basically tire wear being null and void.
I did 2 hours on one set today, and they didn't even get 70%.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you could run a lot of stints on those tires, and I wasn't being too nice to them. I was abusing them through Porsche Curves to try and keep the grip in there. But yeah, compared to a hypercar where I wouldn't say we chew through them, but you do use them a lot quicker. I mean,
they are used a lot
and that's
more in those higher speed sections, just by nature of you go a lot quicker. But yeah, I think after effectively 2 hours on these tires, even with the wear being as low as it is, most drivers are thinking maybe I won't need a new set now, but in another 30 minutes of driving, towards the final stint of this race, the tires might be pretty chewed up, so you may as well sort of take a set at half distance, which I think is where everybody's head is at. But a few...
If I'm Ferrer though, I wouldn't take tires.
I think he already has. I think he might have. Well,
we'll have to keep an eye on Nelson because they're in the pit lane for their fuel. Hideyoshi's going to come in as well in the Porsche.
The gap was about 16 seconds when Joshua Nelson came through.
I think
it should
11.
be. It should be about 50. Let's say 50. If it's above 55 seconds, in the 60s.
His tires, yeah.
He's taking tires most likely. Well, no, it's going to be more than that. Because he actually has to drive through the pit lane.
We'll
guess.
We'll have a look when Ferrer does a pit stop, which I think they might have 2 more laps over Nelson. And then there you go, Hideyoshi's in as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Sauber back up to 10th after their mishaps earlier on in the race, doing very well, especially with the fastest lap. Unfortunately, they were in the top 3. At the start, but yeah, they had some unfortunate incidents happen, but doing very well to keep that Mustang up there.
Hey, do you want to see a trick?
Let's have a look at this trick.
This is how we're gonna know whether Joshua Nelson's on cold tires. Let's see what his car looks like in the first couple of corners, because if they are cold, we will know. I don't think he's taking tires.
No, they're the same tires.
Let's see here. Nope, that's flat-footed. Those are the same tires. So he may have already taken them, or is electing to not take them at all. Is Josh? So you may be onto something, saying that maybe I think those who are fuel saving, as a nature of fuel saving, you don't actually chew out your tires too much or as much. You are driving under the envelope of performance. You're driving under what the car can do. So therefore, you use less tires. So I think those who are fuel saving aren't going to need them. They might take them, but we shall see. Pit stops. Stop number 3 has been completed for most of the field, except for the few that we are used to seeing doing a bit of fuel saving. Currently, Richard Farah leading, and I think once he stops, he will still be leading this race. But 45 minutes, I gotta say, special thanks to the machine, who has pretty much been running the cameras since the green flag. So it's done well. A few things here and there that I've had to adjust, but another tool for the toolkit.
Oh,
that was a little bit close there for Miguel Saba, but
didn't like that.
But we'll see. Still plenty more fights to go for sure. Strategy won't play out until the final stop. I think some drivers are going to get hit with an extra stop. I can say certainly that there's going to be quite a few cars, Ted, that have to do a splash, and that will shake up the order. But for now, we're sort of, well, we're into the night, and the sun will surely rise in a few 10, 20, 30 minutes and simulate the full night shift.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, I ran the same settings apart from the tyre wear today in the LMP2, and going from daytime to nighttime was very quick and very sudden, and then coming back to day again, it was quite weird to see all the shadows on the track, and I was missing my braking points, and shadows was covering the curbing, and coming into Indy was quite an experience. But trying to go back and forth between day and night cycle when it's so quick with the 2 times progression is quite interesting. Obviously the tires cooling off and then warming back up again, and it's quite an experience. And these guys are doing very well to keep that under control. But yeah, it's when you go back from nighttime to daytime is when you don't have the floodlight and you don't have your front lights showing where to go, especially with the shadows. So it's it is an interesting one. But Saba doing a great job trying to catch up to Campbell. They'll both be in this lap. Ferry's already in and should be on his way back out. Ricky Bobby on 1% will be in. Cameron Gruder and Rem Wink will be in as well. All the other drivers still got quite a bit of fuel to go. The ones with the yellow on the left hand side, they should be doing another stop for a splash. Saba gets past Campbell before, or shall I say, entering Porsche curves, and has already gone like a rocket. 43.5 minutes left of this race, and it's been quite an interesting one. Hopefully you guys at home are enjoying seeing the actions and enjoying the cameras that the tool's doing by itself, while Jack just keeps monitoring to make sure it's all working nice and dandy. And Campbell is coming into pit lane with Saba, yes, so that's why he didn't fight Abbott there. Abbott's seen there on the left hand side going through the Ford chicanes as it cuts to him, which is quite interesting. I was just talking about him. Jack and
the machine knows.
It switched cameras, yeah, just going through the Ford chicanes, and we switch instantly, so it's quite nice.
Seems to do just a strangely good job of listening.
It's listening, it's learning.
I think so.
It's scary.
I think so. No, it actually decides. You can see. I mean, I can see. I know viewers you can't see, but I'm able to look at where it's switching to, and it will tell me when. Like, I know that in 2 seconds we're gonna be looking at Juan Botero, and there we go. We're on board with Juan Botero, and it sort of has that built in So it's not doing it out of the blue. It sort of thinks it out.
Oh, Hideyoshi getting sideways there.
He is
Flashed into
more talking from Tetsuo Hideyoshi.
Yes.
I have to say, I do wish that my headlight translator Jesse Lee was here. He would know exactly what that car's saying.
I think he's going to say, "I'm not going to fight you."
Could be. Could very well be.
It could also be a sorry that I made a mistake and that you might have to have slowed down there. Because obviously seeing a car do that is quite spoopy through there, and you sort of lift off or get on the brakes. And as Ren Wink's getting hounded on by the Lamborghini. Don't believe they are in the same category. So yeah, Ren Wink moves to the side and says, "Yeah, you can go through. I just want to do my race and have a nice finish." Because at the moment they are leading the AM class in that Ferrari 296. Cameron Magruder in Pro Am leading, and obviously Richard Ferrer in the Pro category leading their class and overall doing a great job in the McLaren. Be quite nice to see a McLaren win a race. I have not seen that for a very long time, Jack. As you can see, only the only person to choose that car for this series, and I think there's not actually that many out there. It's as rare as people picking the LMP. Well, yeah, it's as rare as people picking the LMP2 for an endurance race.
I would say actually there's quite a few people that drive the McLaren, or I guess used to, because during the Logitech G Challenge, whatever the heck, daily race series, that was all McLaren. So there were actually hundreds of McLarens driving at any given moment on LMU. This is a heck of a fight, I must say. We thought that you translated that maybe he said, "Oh, I won't fight." I think it was, and I'm realizing it was a bring it on.
Probably a sorry.
No, it was a bring it on. Come get me, because
you think?
Maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm gonna pretend. Because
I would never do that because I'd end up crashing. So I know that was never in my translation book.
Hit the flash and then hit the wall.
I've done it before, and behind someone I'm flashing them to try and put them off, and I've ended up backwards.
Oh,
I've never done it again unless it's a friend and I'm chilling. I don't tend to flash the headlights to say, like, you know, let's have a race. I'm gonna try and put you off because it ends badly for me.
Yeah, it's also the other side of that is I'll end up doing it in multi-class. I'll flash somebody to go by, and then go off track at the next corner, bin it in the next corner, and they're just sort of back there like, who is this?
And then you got to do it all over again.
Yes, you have to do it all over again. We asked the question, was there going to be damage repair for Cameron Magruder? Yes, is the answer. He's been driving around for, well, about half a lap after his pit stop, and you can see he's dropped from, he was running in the top 10. He's now down into 13th, so that was a lengthy repair, whatever it was, but it was also a heck of a shunt into the wall that we saw, so a bit unfortunate for them, but yeah. I think perhaps I will go off and do some math, but I do think that even finishing here, they will still have the championship. So you talked about race cars or something, and I'm going to go do some math.
Well, I'm about to say, Cameron was leading Pro-Am, but that does move on to his father, Randy Magruder, up into 6th place, is leading the Pro-Am category at this moment in time. So that crash, not done too well for Cameron, but while you do your little score points maths there, to see if he is still out in front, because it is quite close between all 3 categories for who wins this race. You know, it's quite nice to see them all close. You know, they've still got some sort of a race, even if it's not overall. Obviously, bragging rights would be nice if you beat someone who is in a higher category. But yeah, it's getting daylight now. As you can see, the clouds are going a bit grey rather than the pitch black that we just had. So we'll soon see some sunlight as the sky will start to turn from grey to a bit of an orangey yellow colour.
Good news for Cameron Magruder. I don't think it is mathematically possible for him to lose this championship in this race. He is either 4th or 5th in class, but he would need to be outscored by 19 points. Actually, he needed to be outscored by 20 points by his dad for Randy to win the championship. And there aren't enough cars in class in this race to actually facilitate that math.
So he needs to not DNF.
He could still DNF. He still gets points.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
there is no 60% rule, 80% rule, or whatever. You do not have to finish a certain amount of race distance.
Well, he could just retire, couldn't he?
He could just retire. He could just be like done.
Yeah.
But he won't. I hope.
No, he won't.
That'd be a shame. But no, I think he's got it absolutely. Richard Farah could be a similar scenario, though it's a bit different considering the fact that they are leading and showing no signs of stopping that lead. They need to be outscored by 17 points, so they need to finish like 9th, I think, and Joshua Nelson would need to win the race, but there aren't 9 pro drivers in this race, so yet again, a mathematical impossibility. And for the AM class, same deal. It's so coming into this round, all of them, it was mathematically possible for them to not win, but now, given the number of cars that have shown up, it is mathematically impossible. Hopefully that made a semblance of sense. I apologize if it didn't. Basically, the long and the short of it is, it does not matter what they do. Richard Farrell will win their championship. Cameron Magruder will win the Pro-Am championship, and Rem Wink will win the amateur championship. Speaking of numbers, fuel stops. Pit stops.
True. The brink is in. Abbott might have one more lap, but Randy Magruder and Gutierrez will be in as well, followed by Alacron and Gorgio in the Lamborghini down in 12th place. They'll all be in, along with Ramsey down there in the Corvette in 18th. Not having a great race, but still racing is the main bit. Getting some data for future races they do here, maybe in that car at this track. But it's 34 minutes and 40 seconds left for the race, and sun's coming up. Lights will soon turn off, and they'll have to get used to those braking points that I was on about earlier.
Question for you, Ted. Has the sun come up where you live?
I don't want to look.
Okay, fair. Fair.
I mean, it has done.
It is currently coming up.
No, it's pitch black.
Okay, that makes me feel slightly better.
I think it's about 3:30.
It is about. How would you not? Do you not know? Do you not? Maybe check the clock. Do you not want to?
I don't want to.
I wouldn't blame you.
It's 2:15 right now, Jack, and I still want to watch the England game after this.
Well, I mean, segue. I did say I kind of wanted to talk about the World Cup. I'm interested. You're interested. It's been quite good. Fair upsets, fair amount of excitement. I mean, obviously, at the moment, both of our countries are still in it, and I'll be honest, at the start of it, I did not think the U.S. would. I was just hoping we'd make it out of group stage, but now I'm theorizing what needs to happen for them to get to the final, because that's what you do.
England's been a bit of a wobbly one in their group stage. I forgot who they played against, but it was a 0-0 match, and it was quite surprising that England didn't score a goal. But they've done well in their group, so we'll have to wait and see. But it's not been a strong performance. But then you look at Brazil; they've been knocked out tonight, and that's quite surprising. From a Brazilian team to get knocked out like how they did. It's it's the same with racing. Like you'll watch a team one year, they'll be really good, they've got really good drivers, and then they've switched their lineup. Just like football, they'll switch their lineup, they'll switch their players out. Because obviously being World Cup, they'll choose who they want. And it's the same with racing. you know, your team that you support and want to win or do really well will not be great the next year. So,
I
you
think
know,
there's
things change in all
Yeah, I
sports.
think there's a little bit more to that because you got to be great on the day. Single elimination
Yes,
tournament,
yeah.
often like motorsport, if you have an off day, well, that could be it for you. That's it. That's your day. That could be
And
honestly your
yeah,
championship. That could be your race car if you end up in a wall. And if you're not showing up, you know the adage in racing, you're only as good as your last race. The World Cup is very much you're only good as the last game you played, and for Brazil, the last game they played wasn't good enough to beat Norway, and now I would argue good news for you, good news for the English team, because I'm just gonna say I think Norway was Miguel Saba's round just
Saba.
ahead. He was side by side with Rem Wink and Mulsanne and dipped it round, catches it just about in time for Craig S to drive by. The Shelby American Ford Mustang GT3 is, well, the day was great, and then it was not so great, and then it was pretty good, and now I think, as the waning hours of the night have turned to dawn, it is not so great again.
Yeah, Mustang's got a bit too much power on the rear axle, and yeah, just lit the tires up a little bit, which is quite interesting because I haven't had that problem in the Mustang with, you know, getting my foot down.
I've seen you do it.
Have you seen me do it? Oh,
I've seen you do it.
I know I've done it in the hypers, and I know I've done it in the MP2s.
Oh, everybody spins on the exit of a corner. I've seen everybody do it. I've watched myself do it for 5 years.
Yeah. I know. In the GTs, I get a little bit slowly, especially through the Porsche curves here. As we can see, they are going quite deep now. So obviously the track's not warmed up like it was at the start of the race. It's warming up as we go. It was 25 in the night. It's 24 now. So yeah, it's definitely not warmed up. So they don't have that grip that they used to, and they're taking it a bit slower than before. As Parker is down pit lane to their final stop of the race. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Brandon Magruder on Cameron Bell into the four chicanes. Cameron looked like he was going to go for a move, but doesn't do it. Saba's coming back on Craig to say, "Hey, I want that position back. I didn't mean to make that mistake."
It was an honest whoopsie, I swear.
Yeah. Well, it's better than going straight into the gravel and into the wall. So
True.
you know, it's one of those where you make a mistake in a race. The best outcome is you just hurt the tires a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a lazy spin. It's one of those things where, you know, your traction control is designed to help mitigate that happening, but physics also exists, so it can determine that, hey, the the adhesion on the tire on the tarmac, a little bit too much torque in your rear axle, homie. So we're gonna give you a little bit of a spin, take you on a little bit of an adventure. But the 3-long train, it seems that as the race has progressed, as always, drivers that were doing very well have dropped down, and other drivers have come to take their place. I mean, Brandon Magruder, of course, has stopped for hopefully, I'm going to say hopefully their final stop, though I think they may need a splash before this race is done. So we're a bit out of sequence right now, but it might be a bit more like final results than we think.
Another place, Jack. He's behind the Lexus.
He is
I just
now
noticed. He was behind Craig.
Juan Botero. That is a great point, and I do not know as to why, because it must have been a little half spin, because I have nothing that I can see out of place.
Flags. Yeah. Interesting.
Perhaps just a mistake. A costly one. Miguel Saba has been a threat at leads of races, been a regular podium finisher, and you always hope that regardless of where you finish a championship, you want to end it on a good note. Of course, you want to sort of remember the championship reasonably fondly, but It's a bit tricky when things don't quite go your way. Remwink, though, I have to say, has been driving absolutely fantastically, considering they are in the top 10 as an AM driver, as nature has it for multi-classification championships. If you are in a lower class and you do quite well, that means you're going to get bumped up into the higher class. So maybe championship today, but it may be having to fight your way back through tomorrow for Remwink.
Yeah,
but they have good pace, and I think in the AMP Championship
Ooh.
they're gonna do quite well. A little bit of a squeeze into Arnage. Randy Magruder had his nose in. Leon Campbell, I think, tried to slam the door. I'm gonna be honest, I do not think he needs to, because Randy was there, and the BMW was sort of turning as if there wasn't a nose of a Porsche on the inside.
Yeah, it's Arnage is one of those corners where you don't expect another car to try and send it on you, unless you're multi-class racing with the hypercars. Then it's a little bit different, because all the GTs get sent through there. I mean, I send it on GTs through there if there's a gap and there's enough time they haven't already turned in. Yeah, so it's one of those difficult situations. Johnson into the pit lane in 6th place, dropped back a few places getting the fuel. He's already got the fuel, so he should be on his way back out, and he is back on to the circuit. But yeah, no, Remwink doing really well in the GT car today. I mean, earlier on in the LMP2 he was struggling a bit. Different machinery altogether, so he might be like me, where likes to drive other cars but finds that one type of car is better than I like the LMP2. I gel with that pretty well. Looks like he's gelling with that 296 pretty well as well. So
yep, could very well be. I mean, LMP2s, I'm just gonna say it, they are more difficult to get a hang of compared to a GT3. Getting quick in all cars, I think, has equal level of difficulty, but just getting round a track, the GT3s are as soft and as squishy as it gets in Le Mans Ultimate, which some people might be saying, what is soft and squishy about a GT3? That is the top sort of GT category. Well, yeah, but in relative to an LMP3, an LMP2, a hypercar, and even a GTE, the predecessor to the GT3 and the WEC, it's soft and squishy. It's the slowest of the bunch. It's got the least downforce. It's got the most electronic aids. It's the only car in the game that has ABS. Everything else relies on a bit more driver intuition. I say that it's wrong, though. I mean, I'm very clear, Ted. I'm pretty avid. Not against GT3s, but I don't like driving them. So, me not liking them doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Of course, the racing is always great. They're different. Different is right. Absolutely, they're all different.
They're very different to drive. They feel a bit looser, obviously because of the downforce. Tires are different as well. I enjoyed it. I mean, I drove with a mate to do the 2.4 hour of Le Mans, and we did really well in that race. We could have won, but I had a little spin, so it's it's one of them. But I enjoy them. I enjoy them to chill out. I like to chill out sometimes. You're driving an LMP2, you're sort of on edge a bit. Hypercar, you're always thinking about energy and your battery and tires, and it's like, it is a mental workout as well as a physical. But Nelson in the pit lane to do their final stop of the race. Ferret out still in front. I wonder what energy they are on.
15.
I wonder who. 15, so they will have to be in a couple of laps time to do their last splash, so they should keep the lead. That's the thing. Remwink Jack is just chilling behind Cameron.
I think so.
Because he down the Mulsanne, he was not in the tow. I think he just wants to finish where he is, which is a good thing to do. He's got Abbott behind. I don't believe they're in the same class, so he might let him through if the opportunity arises where the BMW is closer. But Renwing doing a fabulous job of just trying to relax, I would say. Hideyoshi in pit lane as well, and Kent after running out of fuel in pit lane and the stop and go 100 in the pit lane to do their final stop. They are 2 laps down, but they are still driving, and that's the main
I'm
thing.
impressed. I don't know how they ended up in their box. I think somebody did eventually come and give them a push. That's really the only answer. So, I guess pleading enough to for somebody to say, "Hey, here's a bump."
They did get a stop and go 10 as well.
Yep. Oh, that was a bit of braking.
Campbell coming into pit lane, I'm guessing.
Dion Campbell. I don't know. In fact, I don't think so. Dion Campbell's still right behind Juan Botero.
That was very weird.
It was.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either. There's been a couple of these tonight. There's been a couple of these tonight where it's just sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
I almost sometimes I wish these cars had indicators like they do in G2 World Challenge.
A set of course the competiciones with the indicators it's such a good thing that they had that in, because telling people when you're going to pit is good, telling people where you're going to go because you want them to overtake is good. You indicate right, that means you're going to the right and they go to the left, is so helpful. If you tap someone, obviously you're in front, so you can't flash them because they won't see it, especially in the daytime. So you could put both of them on to basically put your hazards on to say, sorry, I didn't mean that. I mean, I've done that a few times. So
the old
it's
Ted
very
Sen
helpful.
Going wrong. The hazard lights could be a tool.
Yeah, I did a few of them recently. It's not great when one of those happen. But looked like Saba gets the jump into the first chicane. As again, we're back on with Abbott now on the back of Cameron. So Renwing did let them go through, as I thought as much, and they are lifting quite a lot, which is not surprising. Getting that fuel saving going. Cameron really going a little bit wide. But it's getting to that point in the racetrack, 20 minutes left, and it's starting to mellow out a bit. People don't really want to overtake each other because they don't need to. Richard Ferris in the pit lane. Ricky Bobby will be in this lap, and Saba as well, followed by Renwing. So it's I think it's just going to be sort of a chilled one to the end. I think Abbott does want to get past Cameron, and Cameron does go a bit wide and doesn't get a great exit. So the BMW will try and get past before Indianapolis.
It will be a good old drag race for sure. I don't actually know which of these two are quicker, but having the momentum coming on a Mulsanne corner does sort of mean that it's going the way of the BMW. Randy Magruder has appeared in the back of shot between these two, so the Rexy Roxy AO racing pair are soon to be reunited. But I think Renwing's sort of doing a good job of almost keeping themselves entertained in this race, not fighting too hard, sort of giving up wherever it needs to be. I mean, overall positions are cool, but allowing people to fight for a championship might be a bit cooler.
Jack.
A penalty for Ricky Bobby, and we do not know what that penalty is. I'm going to guess speeding in pit lane, because no, actually no, they've run out of virtual energy. Right? No, they're at 0% energy. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah. Well, it was given to them before they got the pit symbol on the timing tower. Because if it's speeding pit lane, it'd be on exit. They'll be giving it. So I think it's track codes.
I think I'm gonna guess that, as with our wonderful tool that we use. It is constantly getting updated. It's constantly getting changed. One of the things that happened is alleged penalty reporting, instead of just saying penalty, telling us what it is and why. And we don't know. So I'm going to assume it's not going to be a stop and go for running out of virtual energy. I'm going to guess it is a drive-through for track limit. So I think you're right, Ted.
We should be able to see if it's on your replay.
We could, but I'm not going to.
So I wonder where they got it.
I'm gonna leave it up to our imagination.
Oh, okay.
I'll have a look in a second.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. They're going to lose quite a few positions though. Which
Yeah.
is very unfortunate because they were running in a good position.
It's late enough in the race where it is reasonably spread out, but I think it's gonna cost them. They might actually get away with it. They may lose a position out of class, but I think the positions in class, you know, the Juan Botero still needs to pit, and so does Tetsuo Hideyoshi, which are the two closest cars in class. So I think, or excuse me, actually no, Tetsuo Hideyoshi is done for the race. They're topped up, so they might lose that position there as a result of that penalty. I will now answer the question on where or why. And we'll see if it was. Let's see. That's good there. No track cut here. If the car suddenly, the engine suddenly shuts off, we know he ran out of virtual energy, but that's looking good coming into pit lane. Nothing wrong here. I do believe they definitely didn't speed. I think they ran out of virtual energy.
Maybe.
That might be a full stop and hold 100.
But it doesn't show. So I wonder if the tool that lovely Paul made is shows it for a bit and then
Maybe. Yeah, it could be something in a longer session where it doesn't quite report for the entirety of the session. So I don't know. We're active participants. We're bug testing and whatever have you. Some might think, why do you use a program that doesn't seem to work all the time? Well, because it is infinitely. I could not explain how much better it is than the built-in broadcasting tools in LMU. It is so much better that even when it doesn't work, it's still the preferred thing to use. So that is why, and we'll see. We'll check in with Ricky Bobby when he comes through the pit lane to see if it is a drive-through or if it is a stop and hold. So I don't know. We'll sort of find out, but the sun is well and truly up. The track temp is risen
track temp
back
already
to where it was. So the 24-hour cycle is just about complete. The race as well. Final few moments. And it's been a hell of a championship. It's been very, very enjoyable. Lots of great moments. Lots of great circuits. And many moments of good wheel-to-wheel racing between all three classes. I do not know if this will return for another season. I figure that it will. Ultimately, it has not been announced, so I do not know. I do know if you're looking for LMU action, since the main two series have concluded, the Friday Multi-Class Championship will be making its return. I believe it will be WEC, so hypercars and LMGT3s. I do not know more than that, but I think that's what's going to be happening there. So will that be the season that gets broadcast next? I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but it will be one of the two. I will speak with the people, the powers that be, and they will we'll figure that out. But as far as what are we doing? What do we see?
Ricky Bobby's done his penalty.
He has done his penalty. Well, that was fast. That would be a drive-through then. So what is it for? It has to be
It has to be track curves.
Yeah, but no, it has to be. It has to be speed. I don't know. I'm so confused.
We don't know.
He managed to complete the most mysterious penalty of all time. We don't know.
We'll
but
have to find out after the race for our own sanity.
Actually, no. He's currently in pit lane. You lied.
Is he still in?
That's a stop and hold.
Oh.
That's a stop and hold.
Oh,
He's sitting in his box. They haven't actually spun him, which is kind of funny. So he's parked in his box. He's underway. Oh, they didn't lift the car up because it's a stop and go. Fun fact.
Oh, it was.
Fun fact. Yeah, I think that was that might have been a full 100-second stop there because he has completely dropped down the order. So that would have been running out of virtual energy, and he still had fuel, which is why he was still ticking around at full speed. So
we now know. If we run out of virtual energy, you do not get turned. So be careful where you place your car in your pit box.
Yeah, don't pull too far forward. We've learned several things here tonight that was never before known. One of which is that you can trust the machines if that machine was developed by Paul Glover and is named LMU Broadcast Control Autocam. Because it's great. It's absolutely stellar. And, no, final 11 minutes, Ted. We've been told by Michael Sutton in the YouTube chat that sunrise is 4:51 today. So, for your information, Ted.
For me?
For you, your sunrise is in some amount of hours. Or minutes, hopefully not.
I still got to watch half an England game because that's been going on since 2 o'clock, which was like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, would you like to know the score?
No, not really.
Okay, I won't tell you. What if it's good news? Can I tell you if it's good news?
Sure.
England are up 1.
That's very good news.
1-0. In the about the 38th minute.
Well, that is good news. There's still 9 minutes and 50 seconds of this race to go. And Parker needs to come down pit lane for their final stop. And that should be, I think, the last car to do so.
I think Clay Parker might need to still stop on the board.
That's who I said, I think.
Did you? Sorry, I heard a different name. Can I complain about being tired?
Name.
Which, even though it's...
No, not as much as me.
Okay. It's only 9:38 p.m. here on the East Coast, so I had a busy weekend. It was the 4th of July.
Did Jack have a busy week?
It actually rained most of the time. I won't even lie. I actually didn't even do a whole lot. Granted, I grilled some ribs for the first time ever, and you know what? They were actually pretty darn good. I was very pleased with myself.
I'm
doing
jealous.
A big thing to spare. Well,
Come
in January, and I can make you ribs.
So we're looking at freedom cars. The camera knows.
The camera knows we're talking about freedom. Nothing more free than Shelby American Automotive LLC TNT TM. All rights reserved. Mustang.
The Stang.
Going back to, we were talking about you were wishing for additional car models for all the different versions of all the race cars. I'm very much of two minds about it. I think it would be great, but as a I don't know, the BOP already sort of has such big swings and isn't really adjusted all that much. I'd sort of be worried if it would be a hindrance to have to balance instead of whatever the number is, 11, no, there's not even 11 GT3 cars, however many manufacturers there are, and adding, 3 or 4 more just for the sort of sake of it. I think if they're going to do it, well, if you're going to do it into turn 2, you do it like that. But I think if you're going to do it, I think you should update the old car to the new model as well. So no matter what car you drive, what variation of the car you drive, whether it's the one from 2024 or for 2023 for some of the
I
for some of the
disagree
cars,
on that.
and bring it up.
Because if you give the old car the new, say we go to the Toyota because that's the one that's been heavily changed because obviously it's
a
a
new
whole new
car.
aero pack. Yeah, if you give the old Toyota the new Toyota downforce and stuff, then it's a bit meh. Also, if it's in a season pass you have to pay for, but then the old car gets it, it's like, you know, it's one of those where.
Well, if you own the season pass that has the car in it, you get the Evo versions. You get all the variants of the car. I don't think there are any. I don't think there are any free.
No, that's true.
Free
that's true,
cars
that's
that A, either have an Evo variant, or B, the Evo variant is paid. I think it just comes with it's an addition.
I'd rather them have different car models with the different aero.
I don't see the point.
And
I truly don't see the point of having different ones, because ultimately, what is the point then of sort of running a different car? Because yes, the Evo version is in theory better than the previous one, but they're all balanced to the same level. So the Ford Mustang GT3 Evo, as it were, since we're watching GT3 cars go around, it's a better platform, but it isn't just a straight, it isn't just like, all right, cool, now it's just better, full stop. It's ultimately going to be about the same level of performance as it was, or at least it's going to be at the same level of performance as all the other GT3 cars, as is the sort of intention of BOP, but be a slightly better driving car. So if that's the case, if they're not faster, what's the point of saying, hey, here's a worse car that you could choose to drive that's the same speed? And then 397 also having to spend more resources on balancing older cars. That's my thought. I'm also trying to save 397's resources from doing useless stuff, because they have a lot of things on their list that they need to fix and implement.
Yeah.
So I think they should. I don't know. I think they should take it easy on themselves.
Going with.
Hey, these cars are too wide through the Porsche curves, I think. Maybe
they are.
I think Brett Dabbit actually did on the brakes, but it's good. There's a race going on, surely.
But I think how 397 do the BOP is they obviously do them through special events and stuff, so which makes it a lot easier than what other sim companies have done in the past, where they try and do a lot of data themselves and they try and do a lot of working outs, which takes a lot of time and resources and effort from the people behind it. So it might be easy. I mean, they've done a very good job with the BOP so far, so I wouldn't think it would be a hindrance for them to try and work it out again. But I don't know, just from a driver standpoint, I'd like to see new models in the game.
I don't disagree that we shouldn't have new models. Yet again, more Ford chicane overtakes. We've seen 3 or 4 of them tonight.
Because if you look at the Peugeot, the Peugeot, the wingless and the winged, obviously 2 different models.
Those are 2 different cars.
True, but you look at the Toyotas, they're 2 different cars.
It's the same car. It is a heavily improved variant, but it is the same. When I sort of say it's a different car, it's the same. It's the same car. I think we should get updated models for these cars. I just think they should apply to all the previous variants. Here's another reason why: for making liveries. Because I will tell you, when I do a livery for a GT3 car, I almost always do that livery on the 2023 example of the car, if it exists. One that doesn't have the LED panel on it, because that LED panel is usually in a car like you can see on the side of this Lexus. It is smack in the middle of a car. So if you're trying to sort of do a design on the car, you're going to get blocked by that. I don't like it. And I like being able to run an older car for a livery, but it still be the same sort of car. I don't know.
Ricky Bobby just come down pit lane. Maybe for some fuel jack, I'm not too sure.
He's not. I don't think he's taking any extra fuel. I don't think he needs any. Maybe it was a little bit of a splash, but few cars have actually had to come through. Michael Sutton's asking about the championship standings for Pro. I do not know the numbers, but I do know that Richard Farah is going to win the championship. We ran through him a little while ago, and it was determined by my math that Richard Farah will win in Pro. He doesn't actually need to finish the race to win the championship. Cameron Magruder will win in Pro-Am. He doesn't actually have to finish the race. And Rem Wink will win in Am class, and he also doesn't have to finish the race because they've all completed enough laps to get points, and there aren't enough drivers in each class for there to be a large enough point delta from first to last in class to actually affect the championship at the top. Beyond that, I'm not smart enough, nor do, well, at this point in the race, have enough time to determine the podium. That will all be on SimGrid once the session is concluded, probably. Yes, Farah's got it wrapped up at the lead of the race. He put it on pole, Teddy. He sort of floundered his stop. Wally Johnson's in. I had a feeling he might dive in for just a single lap of fuel splashed. But he dropped down to 4th or 5th position during the very start of the race. Didn't really seem to have the pace, but also may have immediately been sort of fuel saving, backing off just a bit, immediately jumping into their strategy and giving up track position because it all came back good. It all came back immediately good. They had to do the least amount of stops compared to those around them. And for the most part, it's been the same story for the leaders in each class. But it's been a class act from just about everybody. Not too many big incidents. A few strange ones. We've learned things about what penalty you incur should you run out of fuel, and well, the answer is a stop and go 100. So get your virtual energy right, and don't run out of virtual energy because you will incur an absolutely humongous penalty. But as the white flag's being waved, Ted, as the final lap of this season is beginning, it's been good. And I'd like to thank you personally for staying up with us for a couple of rounds here and there, because I know it's late for you, and we appreciate you joining us on a Sunday night / Monday morning.
No, it's been good. It's good to watch GT3s drive because I haven't really watched them too much. I only really just got into the cars themselves, so it's nice to see how everyone drives, and obviously with the 2x tires and fuel, it's nice to see what I need to do if I ever do this in the future. But no, it's been good to see the overtakes, the incidents. Obviously, it's what we hate to see, but is the entertainment. And obviously the overtakes have been really nice to watch this season. And it's soon come to an end with Richard coming through the Porsche curves now. Just got a few more corners to go until he hits that checker flag jack, and he goes a bit wide. He needs to keep it on the track because Nelson's not a drive through now. Back.
Surely not a drive through now.
Oh, Jack!
I would never. It won't happen. But no, Joshua Nelson kept him honest. 2 slightly different strategies. 2 equally great competitors, but as it goes in motorsport, there can only be one. Crowned winner, crowned champion, Richard Farah is going to take it overall in Pro. All glory to the mighty, mighty McLaren. Joshua Nelson is going to come across to take second, and I believe second in the championship as well. Wally Johnson will be the next in class to cross the line, but now it will be a flurry of cars getting ready to cross the line. I had this a few days ago. Who can guess who's going to cross the line when on such a big circuit? I don't know. Maybe let the robot decide. Here's Robot Cam. Things are happening. Jerome
Coming down into
MP and
the
Rodney Ramsey have crossed the line as well. These two still fighting
coming down
though.
in Le Mans corner. Lexus on BMW. Campbell trying to hold it in, trying to keep the Lexus behind. It's going to be a long old fight. Halfway through the track now, halfway to go, and yeah, this fight is not over, Jack. It's going to get spicy. Hopefully, not too wide into the Indianapolis. It's looking like it. Is Lexus going to hold off? It does just a bit. It's going to get him onto the brakes into Indianapolis. He's going for it. He's a bit of paint trading. Nothing too serious. That's what I love about this game. And the Lexus goes for a defended move. BMW goes for the outside move. Maybe a cutback? No. Lexus gets a good exit.
Sorry, I had to steal your thunder there. Wally Johnson comes across the line. Podium for the day. But no, a little bit of paint trading, a lot of close, fair racing between the bunch. And I was going to say, if you're going to go defensive, now's the time to do it. 1 lap remains. Tetsuo Hideyoshi comes across in 4th. Nick DeBrick manages to yo-yo his way around the top 10, finishing in 5th. Brent Abbott will come across, and Randy Magruder will come through to win the race in the Pro-Am class. But Cameron Magruder, his young boy, is going to come through in 2nd to win the championship and run into his own dad, as you do. Clay Parker crosses the line in 9th. Rem Wink to take victory in AM and to take the championship in 10th overall. Miguel Saba will be the next to cross the line with Juan Botero and Dion Campbell just behind. It will be Lexus ahead of BMW. The move made in Indianapolis. The move stays for the pair. Craig S. The next to come through. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Done really well in that Corvette.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been they possibly were one of the cars we were with most often. Always fighting, always pushing, possibly had the most fun of the bunch. No major dramas, but just a bunch of really, really good racing. Craig S., as he's been dubbed, Craig Speed, is going to come across the line in 14th. The lovely Lamborghini, driven by Laurent Gheorghi, will take 16th. Or 15th in this race. Ricky Bobby will take 16th. Franz Alarcon, the last to cross the line. We end our season with a Mustang. And for Ted Edwards,
the Freedom Machine.
Nothing else matters. The Freedom Machine. The black and gold Proton Mustang. Though I don't know if Proton's the one who actually runs this team now that I'm saying it out loud. I don't know, it's black and gold, it looks good, and it's a Mustang, and he's going to cross the line in 17th position. That will be our whole entire race completed. That will be our whole entire season completed, which is sort of terrifying a little bit, because I don't know what I'm going to do with myself on a Sunday night. Maybe go to bed at a more reasonable... Actually, you, Ted, will be able to go to bed at a more reasonable hour on a Sunday evening. Your final race results of the season: Richard Farah, victory at Le Mans, victory in the championship. Joshua Nelson not quite able to get it in the end, finishing 2nd here, and I believe 2nd on the sheet. Wally Johnson, 3rd in their final round. Tetsuo Hideyoshi, finally, a really strong result for the Porsche driver. It's been a bit of a struggle, but to be up and running in the top 5, having a great result to the end of the championship is always worth something. Nick DeBrick in 5th position. Brent Abbott in 6th. Randy Magruder, victory in the final round in the Pro-Am class, but Cameron Magruder is going to take the championship from 2nd. Clay Parker finished 9th. Rem Wink, 10th for the AM driver, and to the champion goes the spoils for him. Miguel Saba in 11th. Juan Botero in 12th. Dion Campbell in 13th. Craig Speed in 14th. Laurent Gheorghi, 15th. Ricky Bobby, 16th. Franz Alarcon, 17th. Jerome in 18th. Rodney Ramsey in 19th. And Daniel Kent, sitting, waiting, praying for somebody to push him into his pit box, ended up finishing the race in 20th. Only one retirement tonight, Alexander Stanziola, and the rest of these drivers not signing out of the championship. So guess what? You all are losing 2 points because that is how it goes. And, well, I think it's fair to do it that way. Mr. Edwards, an absolute stellar night for you and night for us, and it's time for you to go watch the England football match, though I think they are on halftime, so it might be a pretty decent chance to go on. If in case anybody was wondering, it's 1-2. 2 quick goals in 2 quick succession, the final 10 minutes of the half. Probably going to go watch that game as well. So before we take up too much of your time, Ted, final thoughts on the race tonight, final thoughts on the championship as a whole?
Championship was great. I mean, fights up and down the field. People, there were some people who stood out from the others. I mean, Joshua Nelson and Richard Ferrer did really well in the pro category, always at the top in each race. And obviously, the guys lower down. I mean, Cameron did really well on the fuel saving, and there's some of us down the back end who had problems in races but still finished the race. It's a very good job from everyone, and obviously tonight's race was quite interesting. I mean, we had an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes where there was always a fight going on, and people were trying to respect each other. We had a few spins, into the Porsche curves or, into turn one and stuff. But all in all, been a very good race. There was no one that had huge amounts of damage. I mean, Cameron had broken steering, but managed to get it repaired and finish second in Pro-Am, and obviously wins Pro-Am in this season. So very well done to them. But no, it's quite a good race, and nice to see how they handled Le Mans with a 10 times time progression.
Absolutely. Basically 24 hours. For those of you who are doing math, who are good at math, 2 hours times 10. Just about a full day. The full Le Mans experience to end us off, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Next up on the broadcasting timeline, we will be continuing the GT3 Championship, the Thursday iRacing Championship, for the time being until the next LMU broadcast season comes around. I do not know what that will be. It frankly is up to me to decide, and I haven't decided because I also don't know. So eyes up on that. But from a driver's perspective, anything and everything you can find on America's Racing League. Join the Discord, join SimGrid. Everything is found on americasracingleague.com. Thank you to all the wonderful partner Security Solutions, VPG, SimGrid, Crosby's Pizzas in stores in New York, and Trophy.ai. Thank you so much to all of you for watching us. Thank you to all the drivers giving us something to look at and to enjoy our evening. I've been Jack Mays. Ted Edwards has been joining me in the box. From all of us here at America's Racing League, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon.